Hi there, and welcome back with Dr. Pakoya McCall Robinson as I continue to review the Daily Stoic. Today is March 7th, and we're on our 366 days of wisdom, perseverance, and the art of living. I don't know what's going on, but why do I always forget that? I have no idea. But so March Madness is all about awareness. And if you've been tuning in, we've been getting aware. We have been doing the work, trying to process, go inside, see who we are, take a mental, physical, and emotional inventory, an inventory of our homes, all those things to see what are we spending our time on that is costing us and not telling ourselves stories and all the things. So hopefully your process of awareness has been good and gentle and kind. And if it hasn't been, if it has been hard and rough and uncomfortable, you're on the right track. You know, sometimes we don't see change without the work. And you know you're breaking a habit if you are feeling something at the same time. So do not be discouraged. Just continue to push forward and going through that. And if it's hard and you want to quit, see if you can find an accountability partner or someone to help go through the process with you. Not feeling like you're alone in many things is often very helpful, especially with personal growth. We can always use someone rooting for us, keeping our progress, helping us check off boxes, and celebrating our wins with us. So keep those things in mind as you are going through this month and creating this level of self-awareness, and you're watching things and people around you change, or you're not seeing them through the same lens. And sometimes we lose relationships because of these growths and these change. It's like outgrowing clothes, the sea crab that outgrows its shell. Sometimes it is time to grow and move on and move forward and move up. Everybody can't come all the time. So those things can be hard and they can be very difficult. So be kind to yourself as you are going through this process, and remain understanding and loving of yourself, okay? So as we get into March 7th, Diogenes, Diogenes. I should have practiced this name. This is how you know I don't read this stuff before. So I'm going to work on that. But this is who's bringing us the quote for today, and this person's new to me. And the quote for today, the title of the day is "Don't Trust the Senses." Heraclitus called, this is the quote, Heraclitus called self-deception an awful disease, and eyesight a lying sense. The first thing when I read this is what popped up to me is where they say, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Those types of quotes, and how much our eyes lie and our ears can hear what we want them to hear. So that don't trust the senses is something I am very familiar with, in having to regulate my own senses in that regard, and helping others to regulate theirs as well. So I'll go on to read. Self-awareness is the ability to objectively evaluate the self. Objectively, okay? It is the ability to question our own instincts, patterns, and assumptions. Oases, self-deception, or arrogant and unchallenged opinion requires that we hold all our opinions up to hard scrutiny. Even our own eyes deceive us. On the one hand, that's alarming. I can't even trust my own senses? Sure, you could think of it that way. Or you could take it another way, because our senses are often wrong, our emotions overly alarmed, our projections overly optimistic. We're better off not rushing into conclusions about anything. We can't take a beat with everything we do and become aware of everything that's going on so we can make the right decision. So think about your senses. And in the sense of, as it's trying to send a message as far as trusting our own ears, our own eyes, the way things feel. And if you challenge yourself to reflect on how many times have you been wrong, has what you've seen not been quite so, or what you heard not quite so, or if someone is saying something to you and you're like, well, this is what I heard, and they're like, that is absolutely not what I said. What I said was blah, blah, blah. But our senses can fail us. And if we're open to understanding that, accepting that, we're not always right. And our own eyes and ears can hear and be in alignment with whatever it is we most want and desire. So people can hear what they want to hear, and they can see what they want to see. Just ask a friend or yours or family member that is in a terrible relationship, and you can see it. This person is terrible for you. They are bad. They are toxic. And I am trying to show you, but you just won't see what it is I see. And why is that? Because you are on the outside looking in with a different set of lenses, whereas your friend or family member is looking at their situation with rose-colored glasses, and their cup is filled with emotions, and they are drunk on their own. So that's what we have to think about when this quote is telling us, don't believe everything you see, because our cups, we are punch drunk on our own emotions. And when we are filled with emotions, it does change our mind. It changes our perspective, our ability to judge accurately, fairly, and objectively ourselves. That is a place of growth and work where you can objectively look at yourself and be critical and say, ooh, I missed that, or I didn't hear that, or, my heart was beating so fast and so loud, I really couldn't hear anything. Have you ever had that happen? You have such anxiety that your heart is pounding and you can hear just the thumping in your ears. And some people have this experience when they're in the face of public speaking, and it's just overwhelming. That's what we're talking about here today. So, if you are up for the challenge, take this step a little further and challenge yourself today and make that assessment. Have I been hearing and seeing things accurately or no? As always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting, subscribing, and liking and sharing. I really appreciate it. And this is Dr. McCall Robinson signing off. And I will see you all and hear from you all again, and look forward to speaking to you and with you tomorrow.